The traditional school year in North Carolina starts August 28th. That's about a month away right now. But students in many counties will be going back a lot earlier than that, despite state law saying that they can't. WRAL's Capitol Bureau Chief Laura Leslie live from the legislative building with how our lawmakers and our leaders are responding to the schools choosing these different dates. Laura.
Dan, I went through 100 school districts today, and I found 16 of them in the state that are going to start earlier than the official start date in the law. Most of them are west of the Triangle, and they're in rural areas, and a lot of them work very closely with their regional community colleges, which start earlier in August. And that's one big reason lawmakers are not talking about enforcing the law. State law says most traditional public schools cannot start the school year until the last week of August. This year, the date is August 28th, and the vast majority of school districts are waiting until then. But at least 16 school districts are disregarding the law. Randolph, Rowan, and Stanley County schools start August 9th. Surrey and Clay County schools start on the 10th. Lee, Henderson, Iredell, Avery, Polk, and Rutherford County schools start August 14th, and Gaston, Cleveland, Lincoln, Yadkin, and Jackson counties start the 16th.
A lot of school districts are kind of doing their own thing in some ways, and so you have this sort of Daytona.
House Speaker Tim Moore represents Cleveland County. He remembers when the school calendar law was passed in 2004 after a group called Save Our Summers pressured lawmakers to set the statewide date.
And at that point, the pendulum had swung so far. School was starting earlier and earlier and earlier. And you had all the folks from the tourist areas of the state, the coastal representatives, who finally just said, you know, it was enough was enough, and you had a reaction sort of the other way. The pendulum swung wildly back.
But Moore says education has changed a lot since then, including more collaboration between K-12 schools and community colleges.
We have all these dual enrollments and these other things, which, by the way, are producing good results. And the calendar bill right now, the current calendar law really can interfere with that because the community colleges go on one schedule, the schools are on another.
There's nothing the state can do to stop districts from opening earlier, Moore said. He thinks it's time to change the law to give schools more flexibility. But Senate Leader Phil Berger disagrees.
I think the calendar law as is a good provision for the state. I think it's workable for the school systems. I think the local systems that are ignoring state law are setting a really bad example for students.
Now, Dan, I checked in with the Department of Public Instruction today, and they said they don't have any authority to enforce start dates. Charter schools, private schools, and year-round schools, of course, are not subject to that law. Dan?
All right, a lot of families impacted here. Laura Leslie, live for us. Thanks, Laura.